Why do you think people connected to it as much as they have, and why do you think those two characters have had such longevity?
It was three things. One, the characters made people laugh. I can't even necessarily explain it. Do you know what I mean? I can't show you the first few strips and go, look, here's where I really, this joke paid off. It's just stupid, you know? It just was right for the times. It was a kind of punk rock strip for a lot of people. It was a very cynical, negative, angry, goofball, pop culture filled, what the fuck kind of thing, you know? In some ways, though, it was also very mainstream because, I mean, it was these two dumb characters just smacking people. It didn't have a lot of curse words at first. They got mouthier, and the violence wasn't as horrible as it became later on, in some ways. But those initial strips just looked like something you might see in a college paper, in a free weekly that wasn't as classy as the Stranger or the Voice. You know, it was just some jerky drawings that back of the high school notebook dumbass drawings that just rang with people. Like I said, I didn't even think of making a comic out of them. They just were like two dumb wrestlers who came out and said dumb shit and hurt people. Now I don't know if that I don't like I'm always I don't know how to describe them because people go, "What's it about?" It's about two alcoholic dairy products that smack people around and they tell jokes. That's it. It's the same fucking thing over and over. It's just you spin the wheel and change the attack a little bit. It's like the Ramones, you know? It's more or less the same approach to the songs, just some different beats, some different guitar, and sometimes they're buried in a cemetery, and sometimes they're on Rockaway Beach, and you can name that Ramones song in 500 notes, that type of thing. So it clicked. The other two things are, one, it was a fantastic time. I was thinking about this recently, apropos of nothing. It was a fantastic time for character creation. We comics these days, the ones that are published, not maybe the ones on the web, which I'm less familiar with, but if you think about it, the 80s to the 90s was a fantastic time for independent creators to come up with singular characters, not concepts. A lot of the stuff that's coming out now from creator owned and whatnot is conceptual to be made into a television show, or conceptual because it's just conceptual. So it's about a school, it's about a paranormal group, it's about X, Y. You know what I'm saying? A lot of comics coming out these days. It's about a zombie apocalypse. It's not about one character. And back then, the zeitgeist was you had a Buddy Bradley, Flaming Carrot, Reed Fleming, Sam and Max, Milk and Cheese, the Eltingville Club, Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. I could keep going. I mean, I'd have to think with my old brain, but there was a lot of almost like classic entertainers or movie or silent film comedy or comedy characters coming out, and you had Hellboy and things and the Madman. If you were into the costumes, you had Grendel. There was a lot of characters coming out, and the books revolved around those characters. Or the jokes, Too Much Coffee Man, Cynical Man. I mean, Julie Doucet's autobiographical character, Bitchy Bitch. There was a lot of things came out, and it's the name of the character was the name of the book, and that died out when humor books and anthologies died out. And you don't see as many characters generated like the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles even. I mean, think about how many character-related books came out in the wake of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And some are still going. Bone is a character and a concept. Usagi Yojimbo, still going. And a lot of these are character-based. I don't know how far this point can go, but a number of those characters are still in play to one degree or another. They're either cult characters, or they're successful, or they're somewhere in between. And that just doesn't happen as much anymore, where people just go, here's my character. A lot of it now is, here is my world. Here is the world of Saga. Here is, I mean, a character might be involved, but it seems to be a conceptual world, if you know what I'm saying, if that makes sense. I'm trying to think of modern characters, and I'm like, there's the Goon, and the Goon's been around a long time and comes out of the tradition of the older characters. But it really does seem like people are coming up with more Sagas and Walking Deads and things like that than they are comedy characters or superhero, or singular characters, singular genre characters, stand-up comedian type characters, or slapstick characters, or autobio characters that stand in for them or like them, their mouthpiece. One character that can go on a pin or a t-shirt in the old punk rock style. Now everything is a world. I'm not saying this is better. I'm just saying that the character creation is not as strong as the extended world, extended series creation. The one-shot, boiled down nature of characters like Sam and Max, Flaming Carrot, Reed Fleming, Milk and Cheese, etc., where you could probably read one story and get everything you know. That's probably still out on the web, and that might be out in other particular projects, but you're not really seeing that in comic shops or in it's not the zeitgeist right now. To make basically your comic book version of Bugs Bunny or Fritz the Cat or name the, what I mean, Abbott and Costello, or whatever the fuck, And the third thing is Milk and Cheese. I got a letter once. This is how I'll describe it because I'm not good at doing it myself. So let me say what somebody else said. I got a letter from Comedy Central back in the day. And it was from somebody that I got a letter from somebody who was in development and somebody who had a job, a producer at Comedy Central. And they said, hi, I just read the Milk and Cheese book. I would like to talk to you about maybe doing something with these characters on Comedy Central as a show or as an animator or something. I think Milk and Cheese are stars. And I thought, I didn't want to, I ended up working for them for a week as part of a program. So it turned out good because I made money and I got to see what some TV is like getting made and how weird stand-up comedians are. But because I had to go into the offices and work with a bunch of stand-up comedians, and I got to see what it's like a little bit to work in a writer's room where nobody gave a shit about what you were writing and they didn't really want you there. So that was fascinating to me, and again made me want to go home and just do comics where I didn't have to be told yes or no. But the fact he said Milk and Cheese are stars, and I agree with him in a certain way, despite my I'm not saying I'm a star, and Milk and Cheese are specifically, they're just iconic characters, if you don't like them or do like them, they are strong, singular characters, like those other characters that I talked about. And there's a reason that there was a Flaming Carrot option, and a Buddy Bradley show, a hate show is being developed at MTV. Reed Fleming, they tried to develop that into a movie multiple times. I think they're just getting a Fabulous Furry Freak Brothers movie, or something like that. I mean, a lot of these characters clicked with a lot of people, and they were big cult characters for a while. They were punk rock bands, pre-Hot Topic. They were never huge, but they were known and they were influential on a lot of other people. They didn't make people a ton of money, but they got around through the zines and through the mentions and the reviews. Just from Maximum Rock and Roll and Fact Sheet 5, people were finding out about these characters. And they were the punk rock versions of Love and Rockets. They were the punk rock versions. They were the versions of bands, just the iconic character and their creator, who there was some jokes, violence, craziness, comment on the times. It's a touch of underground comics, a touch of mainstream comics, a touch of show business, and they work for people. And now I think also Milk and Cheese became better drawn and became cuter. And I started drawing them in cute versions because I got bored. And I was reading a lot of manga, and I was like, why don't I just draw them with stick figure arms and legs in this panel? Or why don't I just draw them with big eyes? Because I didn't want to draw the eyebrows all the time. And so they became kind of, different versions of them, and that people also liked. And the catchphrases worked for a lot of people. Jid makes a man mean, which a friend of mine said when he was drunk. Somebody bumped into him. Everybody boos up and riot, which nobody ever said, unless they read Milk and Cheese. And, dumb shit. Merv Griffin. Why was Merv Griffin funny? I don't know. It was just them yelling Merv Griffin. Some people hate that strip, and they hated my work, but enough people liked it. And somewhere in there is the truth. I'm still drawing them. I mean, shit, what the fuck is this? I got a cat version of them. And it's not to make a lot of money. It's because I have a cat now, and we were doing buttons and stuff. And I was just like, what do I do with Milk and Cheese? I'll draw them as cats and put eye patches on them to make people on my Instagram laugh. It's not calculated. Milk and Cheese was not calculated.